Hello and welcome to today's tutorial. My name is Joseph. I hope everyone's doing well. So in today's video, I'll be covering particle systems. This is a very basic overview. It's been a while since I've played with particles. So this should hopefully help explain what particles are, how to use them, why we should use them, pretty much all that. Before I begin, I just want to say a great thank you to everyone that participates in the channel. You guys are all amazing. You have no clue. And I'm going to begin. So, particles. I broke this before, and I had to re-record it when I realized what I broke. So, as you can see, we've got a nice little particle system going on here. It's a bit of a fiery, glowy effect. Nothing too fancy. So, the reason we use particles is they're actually very low CPU intensive, render intensive, so it means we can have a lot of them on screen before we start killing things like FPS. Super useful. We can also do things like attach custom sprites, all kinds of things to particles. I haven't done that in this tutorial because I just want to explain the very basics of it so you guys can start playing with them. So under my create function here, there's three things I need, and this is what I stuffed up before, so I had to fix it. So we create a basic particle system, and you can name this anything you want, but I'd strongly make sure you can identify each of your particle components. So this creates the container for the particles and where to reference it. And that's just the first step, create particle system depth. I'm just setting the depth +1 above, and I can set -1 below. Apparently under the new Gamemaker, there's a layer function in this that they recommend using. Because I haven't played with layers, I roughly know what they are in Gamemaker 2, but I haven't played with them, so I'm using my old code. The next part is we create the particle. So this is actually what gives us the effect, and I'll show you guys some playing around with that later. So basically we set the particle type, so I've just called it basic particles. It creates the particle type, it creates a shape, creates the size, creates the speed, creates the direction, orientation, the blend function, the time to live of the particle, and that's it. The last step we have to do is create the particle emitter that references back up to the particle system, so it knows that the emitter is what draws it, the particle system is what contains it, and the particles are what are inside of that. After that explanation, we can jump over to the draw function, and in the draw function I've done things slightly differently because I want them to be a bit more dynamic. So here I've just got two steps to make two colors that should blend across each other, and I've just used temporary values because they'll reset, and the alpha is the same. And I've set two more particle types in here. So one is color 2, which means it blends two colors, color 1 and color 2, which is up here, which then gets generated each time a particle is generated. Part type alpha 3, which is basically setting 3 alpha states, which is this value here. And then we've got the emitter system here, and then we've got the region. So these two are both important. I'll show you why. So if I run the program like so, you'll see I get it there. If I say I don't want the region anymore, as an example, it will still emit it, but it's going to do it up in the corner because it doesn't have coordinates. So you need both these to do it. And you can see here the particle emitter stream pulls the basic particle emitter, it pulls the particle system, and it pulls the particle type, which are the three we've referenced in here and created. Then the emitter basically then re-references the particle system, and then the emitter itself, and then it basically draws, I've set it to draw linear, and there's other ways you can set these. So if I get rid of that for a second, we take a look, we've got a whole bunch. So if we change it to, let's say, ellipse, let's see what this looks like. And particles are a lot to do with playing with the system. And that's the whole point, is you want to play with the particles rather than try to force it. And it's a feel thing. You've got to feel it out to see what you want. So that explains particles. But let's have a little bit of a play here. So you can see here, I've got these tiny little dots, right? So what if I go in here and I change the shape from pixel? And let's just take a look. Let's go line. I don't even know what this is going to do. Let's take a look at what it does. So you can see here it produces lines instead. So you can kind of already create these really cool effects using these very basic outputs. So let's try spark. I'm trying to not pick flare or anything like that because it can be a bit seizure inducing. So there you go, there's a cool effect again. So you can kind of see, you can generate all these nice kind of effects quite quickly. Let's try a ring. So let's just see what a ring looks like, so you get that real ring effect. So I'm going to put it back to pixel, and I'm just going to explain some finer details now. So under the size, this allows us to set the sizes, right? Wiggle means how much it will fluctuate as it shifts. Speed is the same kind of principle, starting speed, end speed, yada, yada, yada. Direction. Basically, all this should be pretty self-explanatory. Blend mode basically means does it adapt to its environment, so does it change colors and blend. One means true. Particle life, so this is how long the particles will live on screen. Pretty straightforward. The only other thing I should explain is right at the end here, there's a value, number. This defines under the emitter system how many particles. So if I do 50 particles, this should look pretty intense. So you can kind of see you get some real cool effects. And if I want to be real fancy here, if I go to here, if I go x is equal to mouse x and y is equal to mouse y, what should happen is now the particles are going to follow the mouse. So let's just see what this looks like. So you can get these really cool effects quite easily. So that's what particles are. I hope that helps explain what they are. I don't feel they were ever really that well explained to me, and I had to do a lot of digging for them. So again, huge thank you to everyone that participates with the channel. The likes and all that are massive. Again, I'm not asking you guys to do it, but I do thank you guys for doing it. I should be clear on that. So I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day and stay safe.